Hi, I'm Rebecca Levey. I'll give you a little bit of background. I am a blogger, podcaster, and website owner. I own a website for tweens called kidsviews.com. But I'm here today because I'm also an education advocate. I am the co-president of a large, and when I say large, I mean 1,000 kids, politically active public school on the Upper West Side, which is sort of redundant, but that's what we are. So at my very large public school, I've been co-president for 2 years. I was treasurer before that. I highly recommend being treasurer at a public school because you will get an inside view of things you probably never wanted to know, among them the budget. And that is where my talk about parental engagement comes in. When we hear a lot about parental engagement, we hear a lot about classroom moms, having a fundraiser, showing up for parent-teacher conferences. All those things are great. It's what your traditional PTA probably should and will do. When I think about parental engagement, I think about a bunch of really pissed off parents organizing, getting themselves together, and marching down to the mayor's office to say, our budget is not acceptable. There's a reason for that. Students can't talk about it. Teachers, they have a union, they can try to talk about it. Principals, they might be scared to talk about it. Parents are voters. Parents have power. Parents don't understand that power. It's really, really important that when you, as a teacher or an educator, are in a school, that parents feel empowered to speak on a school's behalf, to do the things that those in the school can't do because they're actually part of the system. Part of what we've done at our school to make a difference, and one of the major things we did, was fight the Board of Ed on the overcrowding in our district on the Upper West Side. For 5 years, they denied the demographic data that I think everybody knows at this point, that people aren't leaving the city. And 0 to 5 has grown tremendously. We knew, everyone living on the Upper West Side, that there weren't enough spots for kindergarten. It wasn't like a big mystery. There were wait lists at your zone school. There were a whole bunch of nightmares. But all we heard was, there are enough seats, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. It wasn't until a group of really angry parents got together, had petitions, got city council involved, that they forced the issue and actually had the Department of Education listen and form a brand new elementary school. That's the power of parents. That's how that happened. It happened because parents got together to tell their city council people that this is an issue they're going to vote on. The other day, someone forwarded me a story about a little girl in, I don't know, I think it was Kansas, who was so upset that the teachers were being laid off that she cracked open her piggy bank and took her $300 out and marched down and handed her teacher $300. And everyone thought, isn't that awesome? And then the whole community came together, and they raised $20,000 for their school system, which of course we all know, I don't care how low teachers are paid, does not pay for a teacher. And I thought, no, that's a horrible story. That's not a great story. That's a horrible story. Where were all those people in that community when there was a vote on the school budget? Where were all those people when there was a fight going on at their state capital, about taxing millionaires to pay for schools? It's not enough for people to come together when a school's about to be closed because now they're angry about it, or because their classroom size has gone up to 34 kids in a class, or they have lost science. And all of these wonderful progressive things we hear about of hands-on learning and science labs and field trips and all these things, they're all by the wayside because our kids are doing test prep. I mean, let's be honest. These things are fabulous, but I'm at a progressive school. I'm as progressive as you can get at a public school, and we spend 3 months of the year on test prep. There's no proof that that increases test scores, but that's where we're at. And the only thing that's going to change that are parents getting angry. So I would like to see a lot more parents. We have a lot of fundraisers where we raise a lot of money. It doesn't even begin to fill the budget cuts we've had in the past 3 years. And my feeling is, instead of worrying about the next fundraiser, who's going to run a harvest fair, who's going to have a spring fair, worry about organizing to demand more funds, period, for our schools. Backstage, everyone has a little iPad they're on, and I'm sitting there with my little notebook because I'm thinking, you know, this year the parents, we're paying for paper in the office. We paid for substitute teachers last year. We pay for all the professional development for our teachers, so under the new evaluation system, they might actually do well, because no one else is preparing them for the new core common standards. No one else is putting money behind training our teachers for that. So it's up to the parents to do it. I don't think it should be up to the parents to do it, but that's where we're at. And we're a school that's fortunate to be able to do that. So now I'm left thinking, what can I do? And I get this question from the parents in my school every day. What can I do? Can I come to the classroom and volunteer? Can I bring in my company to do something? And all those things, of course, are yes. But the idea of parental engagement is a two-way thing. And what you often find is the parents who become the most demanding get labeled crazy. The parents who don't come at all are lazy. And so you're stuck with this in between, because parental engagement to parents means communication. Parental engagement for many teachers means make sure your kid is doing what they have to do at home. Come in and help me in the classroom when I ask. Doesn't work. There's a total disconnect between what the parents want and what the teachers want to give. And it's an easy thing to fix. Parents want information. Parents want to feel empowered about what their children are learning in the classroom. It's hard to help your child do homework when everyday math looks like Greek to you. It is the role of a school to articulate the curriculum to a parent so a parent can actually be a partner at home. It is up to a school to invite parents in to celebrate the good and not just call them when something has gone wrong. And it's up to a school to actually listen to parents. It doesn't mean they have to follow what parents say. I'm the PTA president. I know the crazy parents. I get it. I see them lined up at the principal's door starting at 8 a.m. I know the parents who want this curriculum over that curriculum and have ideas about how science should be taught and that science should be taught instead of art or art should be taught instead of science and what. I get it. It's crazy. Parents feel very entitled, but this is their kid. This is it. This is the biggest investment they are going to make in their child. And they want to know that they're being heard in the place where their child spends almost all the hours of the day. A teacher has to recognize that usually a parent isn't coming from a place of criticism or anger, even when sometimes they are, but they're coming out of a place of concern. And they're coming out of a place of real insecurity, of not truly knowing what their kid is doing at school, and if they're doing it right, and how to help them get there. And as much as the teachers think that a kid comes home and you say, what'd you do today at school? And your kid goes, oh, I did this, I did. No, your kid says, nothing. And then you're like, okay, you did nothing. And maybe it'll come out later. I have twins, so I get a full mouthful. I'm the reporter from every class. But teachers, I think, need to realize that parents get no information from their kids. They hear about recess and lunch. They hear a lot about that. But they don't hear about what they're learning. And so there has to be more opportunity for parents to actually see what their kids are learning, whether it be curriculum mornings or evenings, inviting them into the classroom to share projects, finding out what skills your parents have. Parents are an incredible resource, whether it's coming in to teach knitting or being a scientist. Teaching a language, parents are a huge resource. And right now, with these huge budget cuts, they have to be tapped into. But they have to be also respected for their time. So that's the bridge. That's the bridge between parent and teacher, and we have to meet halfway. And it's not that hard, but for some reason, it's one of the trickiest things in a school right now. And then once parents feel involved, then they can advocate from a really authentic, truthful place for what's right, for not just their school, but all the schools in this district, and the state, and the nation, because it's parents together who are the true lobby for their kids. That's it, and I will take questions. So hit me with questions. I've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds. No one wants to ask a pushy political parent? Yeah. So I'm a huge Twitterer because I'm a blogger. I love PT Chat. I love Ed Chat. And I also love Deborah Mercino's GT Chat. I am a big agreeer on hitting kids at all levels, but I also think lifting the bottom but pushing that top is really, really important. And that's a huge issue for parents in schools. And unfortunately, it's a very divisive issue for parents. There's often pitting parents who, the parents who feel like their child's brilliant, and their child may be brilliant, but they're usually dismissed pretty quickly as crazy also.
So I have a question. What is the one question that you would tell an educator to ask a parent who wants to be involved in their schools? You've got that parent and I'm the teacher. What's the one question you want me to ask you?
I think the big question is, do you understand what we're doing at this school? And where do you think you can fit in? I think educators take for granted that parents know what's going on. And parents are very intimidated, and especially if you're dealing with first-generation parents or just parents who didn't have such a great education themselves, they're scared to look stupid. Parents don't want to look stupid in front of a teacher or their child.
I'm a fellow New York City parent as well, and of all the different constituents you mentioned, stakeholders you didn't mention community education councils. I wanted to get your take on parental involvement using the CEC.
Okay, I will talk about the CEC. I'll just say very briefly, there's a feeling among, I think, most parents in New York City that the CEC is powerless, that the true bodies that have parental elected people on them, whether it be the SLT at the school, which for those of you not from New York is the school leadership team, and CEC is the Community Education Council, which sort of replaced school boards, are really just for show. And in District 3, that's our district, that's been especially true. They haven't taken one recommendation from the CEC, particularly over the fight over charter schools cohabitating with public schools. Yes? Sure. I think it's a huge issue. One of the things that doesn't happen in New York City is we are not members of the national PTA. There's like a law in the books from the 60s forbidding us. One of the things we are working about in District 3, and I know we're working on across the city, Michelle Lipkin, who is president of President's Council, is very active in this, is bringing together the PAs and PTAs across the city for that reason. But I can talk to you more about it offline. Thank you.